Yo, welcome back to another video. We are going to be running the Great League, and we're going to be looking for the Annihilate. We're trying to find Annihilate here. We're going to be running the Lanturn with the Lickitung in Cresselia. So Cresselia and Lickitung pretty decent against the Annihilate. So let's see if we can fight it. Our opponent here is going to have the Charger Bug, so this is kind of a neutral matchup depending on the Charger Bug's movesets. We're just going to stay in, and we're going to go for the Surfs. We do get a shield from our opponent, so that's pretty much as good as it's going to get if they're going to stay in. And now this is just going to be a farm down opportunity for the Lickitung. This Lickitung is going to have to tank 2 X Scissors here, I believe. And we do get the farm down, but we have to tank 2 X Scissors. They actually end up having the Lickitung as well. So they have the Lickitung Charger Bug combo right now. We're just going to throw some body slams right here, and we're trying to see if they're going to throw a move. So they do throw a move finally. We survived it by sliver of health. We're going to exit that with a body slam saved, and now we're going to reveal that we have the Cresselia. So we're going to shield here to try to keep this Cresselia relatively healthy. Our opponent here is going to try to catch a move, but we threw the Grass Knot, so they actually 5-headed themselves. So we're going to be able to take out that Wish Cache with 2 Grass Knots pretty easily. And now comes the decision. Do we go for the Future Sight, or do we go for another Grass Knot? I think this is low enough to where 2 Grass Knots will get it pretty low, so that's what we're going to do. We do have a shield still, but we remember that we have a Body Slam in the back with our Lickitung that we have to save the shield for. So this Grass Knot does take out that last shield, and lucky for us, we do have a Body Slam after we do 1 fast move. So we didn't quite have the Body Slam, but because we had the shield, they had to try to farm us down. So GG's to our opponent right there, able to win that backline with the Lickitung and Cresselia. So next game here, let's see what we find. We get the Lanturn versus the Altaria. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit trickier. Altaria pretty neutral against our entire team, especially since our Cresselia is no longer running the Moonblast. We do stay with the Lanturn. We do get a huge Thunderbolt off. Thunderbolt does a lot of neutral damage so that we can get this low enough so that all we have to do is throw a Surf next. And we go for the farm down. So that's huge right there. We win the lead. They actually revealed that they have the Drapion. So Drapion is actually not that great for the Cresselia. So we're just going to stay. We're going to ship and dip. Okay, so it looks like our opponent is going to throw the Crunch first. 1 Crunch goes through. We do not get debuff, so that's pretty good. 2nd Crunch goes through. We finally get the debuff, unfortunately. We're going to go for another Body Slam right here. This Body Slam takes it into the red. And now it's a farm down range. So we're just going to let this Crunch go, even if it KOs. And now we have a decision made. We're going to get some energy head start with the Cresselia, or we're going to come back in with the Lanturn. They decided to switch out into the Talonflame. So this Talonflame right here is going to have to throw a move. Ends up being the Flame Charge. We're going to go for the Grass Knot bait here. And let's see if we can get some shields from our opponent. No shield from our opponent is crazy. I guess they knew that they survived. So another Flame Charge goes through. We're going to go another Grass Knot right here. We need to get some shields. And they go for the no shield again. So we have no choice but to go for this Future Sight. Maybe they don't think we have Future Sight, and boom! That is the only way we win right there. We were basically just baiting them the whole time and then going for that move. Able to win that with that surprise. They probably were not expecting Future Sight on that Cresselia. Next, we're going to be using this team, Lanturn versus this Altaria. We kind of need to try to get this Thunderbolt off, so we're just going to throw this Thunderbolt. They do shield, so we get a shield from that. Let's see if they throw the Moonblast. They go for the Moonblast. They debuff us, so we're going to immediately switch out, and we're going to try to reset that Lanturn matchup. This Lickitung here is met with a Poliwrath. We do get the Power Whip to go through. Now it's low enough to where we can farm down with the Lanturn, I believe. Or do we go in with our Cresselia? Let's see. I think we're going to come in with the Lanturn. Makes sense. We're going to farm it down. And our opponent reveals that they have the Venusaur in the back. This Venusaur is not great for our backline right here. We're hoping that they throw a move, but they were disciplined enough to not throw a move. They were going for the farm down. We're going to have to switch into our Cresselia. We tanked the first Frenzy Plant. This second Frenzy Plant, we're going to have to shield. And our opponent here ends up switching out into the Altaria. They are able to throw on CAP. that Sky Attack goes through, unfortunately. And this is GG's because we're not going to be able to get this Altaria taken out with the shield. So, nice play by my opponent. GG's. On to the next game. So far, no Annihilate. Have all the Annihilates been scared away? We are trying to fish for Annihilate with this lineup here, but so far nothing. Lickitung versus the Lanturn. This is another kind of a neutral matchup depending on the bait situation. We're going to go for the Surf here to kind of chip away. We're going to try to catch a potential Power Whip. Perfect. So we do get the inefficient Power Whip to go through. Our opponent ends up switching into the Charge Bug. This Charge Bug does reveal that they have the X Scissor. So we're going to stay in just a little bit longer and then throw the Body Slam. Body Slam goes through. We're going to throw the Body Slam next as they were trying to overcharge. Next Body Slam does get a shield from our opponent, so that allows us to get to another Body Slam. Are they going to double shield just to keep this alive? That is indeed what happens. We kind of quick switch right there. We thought we had a Surf available. Unfortunately, that is not the case, so they're going to be able to unload all this energy onto the Lanturn. Then they also switch out immediately and try to go for a farm down. We go for the Thunderbolt, and we were gonna be able to get to a Surf, but they actually cut us off right there and throwing a Body Slam. So throwing the Thunderbolt was the right play. Next, we're gonna have to tank. We're going to shield the Body Slam, and then we're going to have a shield advantage for whatever they have in the back. What do we think they have in the back here? Oh, it ends up being the Azumarill, so this is fantastic for us. With the shield, we're going to be able to win this. They try to switch out. We know that we have this shield. We're going to have to shield this X Scissor, and we're just going to farm down. And this is GG's because we already added a Grass Knot right here, and we're going to be able to get to another Grass Knot pretty soon for the KO. That is indeed what happens. Taking out this Azumarill with the Cresselia. Nice play, nice play. So they actually had a pretty tanky team. Azumarill, Charge Bug, and Lickitung. Pretty tanky. So this team here, able to match up pretty well against tanks. And let's see what we find. Okay, Shadow Dragonair, kind of a weird situation. Can't really throw a move. So we're just going to tank a move and then switch out into our Lickitung. Our opponent here does throw a move. Ends up being another Body Slam. Then they switch out into their Gligar here. This Gligar is going to have to tank a neutral Power Whip. We believe that we can only get to one Power Whip in Body Slams. So that's the sequence we decided to go with. And that is indeed the truth. So we do get to one Power Whip and Body Slam. So that's pretty ideal. We're going to have to tank this Aero Ace right here. This Surf goes through, takes out the Gligar, and then they're going to switch in. Okay, and then they're going to switch out into their Jellicent. This Jellicent is going to have to tank some of these Grass Knots. Unfortunately, even though they're only throwing Surfs, we eventually have to use Shields against this Jellicent right here because it is doing super effective fast moves, and they're just going to be able to chip away at us. Next move goes to a Surf. Unfortunately, we have to shield Surf at this point. Now we're going to have to throw this Grass Knot to potentially KO or get the last shield, but our opponent is able to recognize their win condition is one shield and Shadow Dragonair, and that is indeed the case. Shadow Dragonair kind of tough to beat, but unfortunate. So check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.